You already on.
Oh, you tried to Dwayne Allen me. Oh, you sneaky. Oh, the red light is on, and you know what that means. Brother Hugh tried to. This is going to be the first thing on the notes tomorrow on the
Right.
flagship show on the Wrestling Realm. 10:30 tomorrow. YouTube.com/Wrestling Realm.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, Brother Hugh, enough
Yeah.
is enough. You know what I got to tell you.
What you gotta tell me?
So I want to go all the way back, go way back to WrestleMania 32. We saw the playing field get leveled in WWE. And when I say the playing field got leveled, the Divas title was announced to be going into retirement because we were going to usher in the WWE Women's Championship. And it was revealed, and it even showed that this is the era where the Divas moniker is gone and they are women's,
Mm-hmm.
it's a women's division. Did this name change help? Did the strap matter? And was this the beginning of something special, or was this the beginning of too many copycats? Who better to discuss that than us? Let's get to it.
Hey, you ready, face? Let's get it.
I love it. Go over their Instagram and follow us.
Hey, look, all messed up.
He just pushing all the buttons. Oh, buddy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to almost to the end of season 3 of Championship Culture. I'm Brandon the Guy. And he is none other than Mr. Fix Your Hair. Who's that guy? Who's that guy right there?
Oh, it's HASTHE to the 3RD. Brother Hazmat 3. We here.
Oh, he's here tonight. And brother Hugh, we are
Yes,
here
sir.
for a specific reason. Yes, it is Women's History Month, and we cannot let it go without breaking down not only the lineage, the design, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad. I don't want to call it ugly because it's only been one belt in my mind that's been truly ugly, but as people like to say, and I'll give you a hint, I got the color on the belt was that I think was truly ugly. But I say all that to say, are you ready to have this conversation?
Let's talk about it.
Oh, buddy, because a lot of people don't understand that the Raw Women's Championship became the centerpiece of Monday Night Raw because it started as the Women's Championship, like I alluded to in the intro. When WrestleMania 32 was coming about, Stephanie McMahon said, they're going to be a new women's champion, and I want people to realize this is the time when we had just got the black strap WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Um, and it was a time where now the women's belt looked just like the men's belt, but it was
Right.
white and it had red. Didn't last too long, and that was in 2016 because something else happened that we're gonna get to later. But this lineage, and I'm gonna give people a brief history because the women's championship actually started back in 1956 as the NWA Women's Championship. Then by 1984, we know it became the WWF Women's Championship, and then it became the WWE with the name change in 2002, and it was merged in 2010 with the Divas title, which was introduced in 2008. So the
Right.
Divas title became the de facto, just like when we have undisputed champion. They had one champion for the women's division, which was known as Divas, and the Divas title took over its lineage, right? But it's always been
Right.
tied. But then they said we're going to drop the Divas belt, and they introduced their championship, right? So from the start, this belt said everything that the men belt was saying, but now it's on a white strap. And Hugh, first question to you: did the strap matter at that time?
Did the strap matter? What,
Yes.
what what does that mean? What could you
It,
break that down for me in championship culture terms?
oh, absolutely. Because when we get to certain belts, right? The
Hmm.
white strap has been. nowadays attached to the women's championship. Before this
Right.
point, we had a lot of straps that were the white strap was attached to a mid card belt for the men. It wasn't really like a definite women's title because we had the TNA Knockout Championship on a white strap, but that was a few times here and there. We seen it the NWA Women's Championship on a white strap, but the prominent belts were Intercontinental belts, IWGP United States Championship. So I'm sorry, IWGP Intercontinental and the Intercontinental Championship for WWE, and then sometimes you would see a white strap variant for like, of course we know Wing Eagle, but it was always associated with that second tier championship. So when they said we got the black strap World Heavyweight Championship, and it said World Heavyweight Championship, now almost an exact duplicate for the women, not the Divas, the Women's Championship, and it said Women's Championship on a white strap. Did that strap matter at that time?
I would have to say yes because this was the beginning of the white strap era for women. This is how you identify women's championships nowadays, right? That was the
Hmm.
beginning. Um, I think the white strap overall, it looks better, especially for a female. But just in general, it has a cleaner look to it with the majority of the belts that are made. But yeah, most definitely the strap matters.
So now think about it. That was WrestleMania 32, right? And
Yep,
then we got to see, now we had this belt, we had it as the Women's Championship, right? But in August of 2016, we got our announcement that SmackDown would be getting their own women's champion. I guess they didn't want the women's champion to float between both shows. And there was a tournament that was held, right? And this tournament kind
right,
of felt like a building of the next superstar. Because you had Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Natalia, Nikki Bella, Carmella, Becky Lynch, um, all in this tournament, right? I did say Naomi, right? All in this
right.
tournament to say who's going to be crowned the first SmackDown Women's Champion. And I remember seeing the reveal, and I said they just changed the color, right? And even from its inaugural champion of Becky Lynch, who can be described as like a trailblazer when it comes to women's wrestling, right? Because she did
Right.
something a little different. We're gonna get to that a little later. But when you got just a background change and a new lineage for a championship, because this is something that wasn't tied to anything. Its lineage started as the SmackDown Women's Champion, right? Two things I'm
Right.
gonna ask you. Did the name hurt or help it?
I guess at the time it helped because they did the brand split, right?
Hmm.
So it made sense to have for each brand to have their own championship because that's the way they were treating it. I personally didn't like it, but it is what it is. I'm not the boss. I wasn't the boss then. I'm still not the boss now. But
You
I
got
mean,
the
at
final
that point in
boss?
time, no, 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 I'm not. No, never could be the final boss. Only one final boss.
and
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you this before we go on because we're gonna dive into the heart of the show. So it must be Tuesday. You know what that means, right? And somebody said, "You the wrestler, Ralph." We're gonna leave him. Then he said, "Sorry, CC. Thanks for joining us." And I wonder does he need a drink? There's your guy.
Oh
You
my
see who's in
God.
the chat? Your guy.
Yeah, my guy Craig.
And
What's
then
up,
here's
bro?
your. I need a drink. Is the this got to be your birthday twin. But Justin makes a good point. He said, I
Whoa.
was there the night that beautiful title was first introduced. It was a big moment. And it was. And before we get into the heart of it, because it's some things that with and let me take this off my shoulder because I promise you, we're gonna give you a in-depth look at these two titles, the only way championship culture knows how to. But we gotta have this conversation because we've seen in 2025 that women's wrestling has become just wrestling. The label was starting to come off of it. But at the time, it needed a label. But then we need a weak label like Raw and SmackDown. Yes, we understood that was the women's championship, but
Hmm.
we had the WWE championship and the Universal. If you're going to put them on equal playing field like we see now, why couldn't we be the WWE Women's Champion and the WWE Universal Women's Universal Champion? Because we've seen it now that the lineage has changed. Too soon, too reaching, because the design was an important move for him to be equal playing field, right? They
Right,
just had to shade
right.
a white strap, red or black background. I mean, red or blue background, right? But
Right.
why was this an important move? And I just want to take you back to 2016 that the women be on equal footing, as in because NXT did the same thing. Their women's title looked exactly like the men's title. One was gold, one was silver, right? Why was
Yeah.
that important to make that move?
I would think right now, well, as far as what you say with the just the brand names, I would say it makes sense because you want them to be seen like they're on the equal playing field. As opposed to say if you said WWE Championship, Women's Championship, and the World Heavyweight Championship, even to today, one feels more important than the other one, right? Just because of
Hmm.
the name and the lineage of it, right? So I feel like at that time that's why they had Raw and SmackDown. They wanted both of them to feel important and equal, right? And as far as them to having the same design as the men, like you said, equal playing field. Plus, it was an easy template to mimic or to mock. You know what I'm saying? Just insert. Why go out and go ahead and do a whole nother belt specifically for the women when all you have to do is copy and paste and change the color on it?
And it felt like it was because at some point, and we're gonna get to those who held it, made it feel like it was a big deal than it actually was. And
Yeah,
sometimes one of the women belts felt more important than the men's belt. We're gonna get
at
to that,
times,
but
yeah.
you know, I think it's time for them to see. We usually say every belt has a story, but it might be time to break down the design. Let's break down that design. Let's show the people what we're gonna break down for 'em. How about that, right?
Hmm.
What, think it's time? I think it's time. Check
Oh yeah,
this out.
you got it.
I thought you had it up.
Hold on, hold on. Oh no, it's not in there.
Uh,
I never
okay.
put it in.
Oh, okay. Well, why?
You might as well just bring the belt out. Bring the belt out.
as as we transition, so eagle eye viewers will notice a couple things, right? And what's crazy? I have no idea how this happened here, and I don't see
Oh, what happened?
or look, it rubbed off.
Oh,
I don't even know when. Um, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to tell you is, so ironically, this is one of the design flaws. I'm gonna tell you about this belt. So every belt has a story. Why do I have the both women's championships? WWE had a sale on commemorative belts at one point, and I couldn't see myself paying the extra money for a regular belt because I said
mm-hmm.
I just wanted it for display purposes
Right.
because it meant something. It was important when it came to both of these championships, right? So they had a sale on commemorative belts at one time, and I purchased a commemorative. But what I realized, even on the real belts, they use plastic in certain spots, and I have no idea how because I repainted this, and if I got pictures that were taken just not too long ago, I had to repaint this swoosh because it fell out. And if you look closely, you can see where I actually painted it. Um,
Yeah.
but as we break down the design, this has been something that we talked about on Network Logo. The biggest difference in all of the Network Logo ones, the side plates that came with the SmackDown one had blue behind the globe, the blue in the background. The swoosh was red for both belts, which was I always thought it was crazy on the Raw one. I'm trying not to see where, but I had to repaint this because the plastic fell out. Granted, none of the stones ever fell out. So that's this version of the championship. But then you'll notice that the SmackDown one is slightly bigger. Now, can you guess why the SmackDown one is bigger?
Why is that? I have no idea.
Okay, so good question here. So Toys R Us was selling the WWE Championship at one time. Big old
Right.
box, $100 for that championship, right?
Yeah.
And if anybody know what Toys R Us is, you'll get a kick out of this. Then they brought out the Raw Championship, but the problem with that is, and I'm gonna just show the people, this is the problem. You see how much bigger this is? They literally just took the
Oh
same
yeah.
exact one for the men's title and just put it on a
Yeah.
white strap and a red background. But this plastic didn't fall out of this one, so that tells you something. Side plates exactly the same, just like on the men's title. It just says women's championship. But as you can see the size difference, they're clearly two different sizes. So I went commemorative with both of these because I knew they were just for display purposes. Mine is my swoosh being on, which is hilarious because I have no idea how it fell off. I'm going to go back and look at the pictures because I'm pretty sure in the pictures it was all there. Um, maybe somebody's in the house and I don't know about it. It's kind of creepy. But
Yeah. Yeah. The boogeyman did
you
it. Maybe Bray Wyatt did it.
Bray Wyatt.
The the uh
Oh
the the, the
wait,
white belt. Yeah, he with the eyes.
no wait,
Who's
it's right
what
here.
happened? You found it?
I forgot I
Oh,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Look,
Yeah,
I
see,
did
that's
pay.
it.
Look, see that? There we go. Which is crazy. What I was talking about, I just was able to pop it back in, but I wound up painting the whole thing to match.
You,
So
you know what's
look,
crazy?
live and in color.
You know what's crazy?
What's
You
that?
would think I would like that style, that actual design, because it's in the shape of the home plate for baseball. I'm a I'm an
Hmm.
avid baseball fan, but to be
Hmm.
honest, I don't really like this design. I never was a fan of the network title. Just
But
the
see,
shape of it,
Cliff,
just the shape of the main plate is. I mean, to me, it's kind of a lazy design.
and see, he
Yeah,
likes the blue better.
I'm a
But
traditionalist. Yeah, I'm a traditionalist though.
the only reason I don't like the red that much, and I love red because it's red on red. Remember with the
It's a weird.
Universal
Yeah,
title, they did this. Yeah, they did the swoosh in black, and I always thought that
yeah,
was better because I was like, it gave it a little bit different character. But
yeah.
Universal title on the blue strap, the swoosh was red. So I get why people like the blue, but when we talk about these, tell them anything you want to add about the design because there's some unique things about the network logos that a lot of people don't realize. What say you, Hugh? What you want to add on to that?
I already added on what I want to add on. I don't like them. No, but honestly, I would say the blue does look better. Especially with the red, it just pops a little bit more. Uh, the red is just weird to me. There's two different shades of red. It'd be better if, like you said, the red on red. Maybe if they would have made it a black check or a different color check, it would
Even a
look
white
better.
check.
But overall, I'm not really feeling the actual design of the title, and I was never really a fan of these. But I'm just being real with you.
Now imagine if the backside of these were both white and the swoosh, one was red
Hmm.
and one was blue. Would you go
Yeah,
for that?
I
Raw,
could go for
Smack.
that.
Raw,
I,
SmackDown. You know what
I
I'm
could
saying?
go
Like
for
if the
that.
swoosh
Yeah, it'll
identified.
probably look better on the red. Yeah, it probably would look better. Just that red on red. Like if anything, if the backing was the same color red as the swoosh, I know it's two different types of material, but if it was
Hmm.
that darker red, then I'd be like, all right, cool, I'll go with it. And then you can just,
Okay,
like you said, maybe put the blue or the black with it, and then it would have been a little bit better. But still, overall, I mean, I'm just
we're gonna
okay
keep
with
the
it.
blue up. But I will tell you, when you look at the design, the stones on each, when you have the stones going around and the red accents help it a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I love the fact that on whether it was commemorative or replica, the side plates match the main plate. Because
right,
some of them they just give you no color. But I thought that was a unique look. So that way when you wanted to if you didn't want to do another side plate or you wanted to keep it, it still felt like it flowed together. And it gave it brand recognition when these network belts came because it was no way of guessing that is a WWE champion, no matter what. And that was like those four were the most important at the time because that's what it was, right? And when we
right.
talk about the champion, you want to go with Raw or SmackDown first. Which one you want to go with first? Because you know which one was my
Raw,
favorite.
Raw came first, so
All
we'll
right,
go
well
with Raw.
let's go with Raw, right? So we
Hmm.
know your girlfriend was the first champion because she was the last Divas
Absolutely.
champion, and at WrestleMania she won that triple threat match between her, Sasha, and Becky Lynch, and she became the first women's champion, right? But
Right.
then, you know, she found her nemesis, and they traded some blows. And when I say blows, I mean they traded belts. We went from Sasha to Charlotte, Sasha, Charlotte, Sasha, Charlotte, and then my favorite, Bailey said, "Enough of this. I'll get the title." Right? Do
Right.
you think that feud of hot shotting or hot shot booking or hot potato on the belt helped establish Sasha, or it kind of decredited it, took value from her? Which one do you think it did?
Did it just help Sasha? I mean, it helped them all because you got to understand those are the four horsewomen, right? They all part of the four horsewomen, and they were supposed to be or they are the leaders into the next era of the women's evolution, right? So it made sense to have the hot shotting. To me, it made sense to have the hot shotting of the title because it gave each one of them a chance to interact with the crowd, number one, and to showcase what they can do in the ring. We already knew for the most part what they can do from NXT, but now we on the main stage. We're on the main roster, so it just gave them an opportunity to take the ball and run with it. So Oh, you got something going on. What you doing over there?
Can you hear me?
You can't hear me? I can hear you. I can.
Yeah, I can't see you. That's why I checked to see if it was.
I'm here. I'm here. 100%. Can you hear me? He's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon, the guys left me. He did it on purpose. I know he did. So I'm just gonna sit here and run my mouth because that's what I do. What I do. You know, we ain't really got to talk about wrestling. Let me know in the comments what y'all want to really talk about.
Did
Hey,
you
we was
say?
gonna sit here. We was gonna sit here and just talk.
All right, we're back. So all I said was I asked a question, and then it said, "Yep, that's what it did to me."
It went out again.
Can you still hear me?
I can
We
hear
good?
you.
Okay, we
Yeah,
good. So, all
yeah.
right, I think everything's correct.
I'm
Okay,
here.
so all right, back to the. I missed what you said, but I'm pretty sure the people heard you, right? Because
Right.
then we got to see Bailey was the last horsewoman to come up, right?
Yeah.
So when she came up, she made an instant statement because she became the Raw Women's Champion, right? And it might not have been instant, but she got called up. She became the champion, retained it at WrestleMania, and then you remember who had it after that?
Now you keep going in and out now.
Maybe I should try to sign on. Um,
All right, go
but
ahead.
no,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I can hear you now. I can
I
hear
was
you now.
going
Go
to
ahead.
ask you about Alexa Bliss and some of her
Yeah.
stats because Alexa was the one that took down Bailey, and it was like,
2016. Yep.
and what about Alexa? Because I know you got something you want to say about Alexa because she was the first one to do what?
Oh, she's the first to win both branded belts, the Raw and the SmackDown. She didn't do it at the same time, but she won the Raw in 2016 and then SmackDown 2017. First to do it, and I would love to see her back in that role now. But she has a pretty convincing character right now, so we'll just rock with that. But
And remember, Sasha won it at SummerSlam, then she lost it
right,
like later on Raw. And the only reason I'm saying it because the Raw title felt like it was passed around a lot, whereas though the
hmm
SmackDown was establishing those superstars. And when I say establishing, because when we move over to the SmackDown side, we know Becky Lynch had it, right? But I'm pretty
yeah,
sure everybody in the comment probably can remember a lot more storylines about the SmackDown Women's Championship than you can the Raw one, right? Because Raw, I felt like between Charlotte and Sasha, that's all anybody remembered. That it was like, oh, Becky got it. You know what I mean? The man. Like people forget some of those great reigns in between, and some of those things that really established. That's the show to watch because
right,
SmackDown was saying we got matches that you want to see too. Because even when Alexa Bliss took it off of Becky, it was like, oh, okay, good showing in the tournament, good showing overall, that character as being like a Harley Quinn type of character was really working. And then we got, you know, favorite who people might hate now, Naomi, right? And what did Naomi do? She did something that will always, I say, it was a missed opportunity. Naomi made sure of one thing, right? If you know anything
yep,
about Naomi,
yep. Oh my
with
God.
Naomi,
Okay, all right. Well, oh, what she did, man? She customized the belt, man. She's known for glowing, so
there
she
we go.
came out with this. Boom. Hold on. Did it go up? No, it's not. Boom. She came out with this custom belt that glows in the dark. And like you
All right,
said, that could have been an opportunity. That could have been a big opportunity for them to capitalize on making money. But they went elsewhere with it with their decisions. But go ahead, brother Brandon. I know you wanted to say something about this belt.
No, no, and I'm saying you said it right. That was probably one of the biggest things to happen to that title. Well, first off, everybody was excited that Naomi won it, but then to
Right.
say, okay, she's going to wind up in WrestleMania in her home state as champion, and then it was, oh shoot, is she hurt? But then remember, she came back and she won it at Mania, two-time reign in a short amount of time. That belt just fit the fact that she made it glow. Her entrance, everything about it. Could you imagine if she would have been a
Kids love
long
it.
champion? They could have sold that belt to kids. You would have seen little girls running around with that belt. And maybe even little boys saying, hey, because, look, her shoes was glowing, kids was wearing that. What better way to capitalize on something? I know some adults that would have loved to have that belt. You could have seen people in
You
the
know,
club.
daggone well I would have got that belt.
You would have had it. You would be still wearing it right now. Uh,
Hey, all in the club, like you just said, right?
but he also
Who's
said
that guy?
he said the same thing with the belt. That's right, Justin. Um, and Alexa Bliss had him avoid a chokehold. You are not alone. But did you see what your twin said? It turned into ass culture. Um,
Hey,
so, and I'm gonna get to this point, right? And when we say we remember that rivalry between Alexa and Naomi because it had some grit behind it. Then Natalia got she hadn't been champion since she was Divas champion. Natalia got it, and then here comes Charlotte.
I forgot
And I think
Natalia had it for a second, for a quick
they,
minute.
you forgot a few months,
I
right?
forgot all
It
about
was
it.
almost
Yeah,
90 days she had it.
yeah,
But the best thing I think that happened when Charlotte had it was Carmella cashed in on her. Carmella cashed in on her, right? And we get to
yeah,
see other things happen. And this is where I don't know if you remember. This is why I'm saying the SmackDown Women's Championship was better. Becky Lynch cut a promo saying, "I'm tired of being was. It's time for me to start being I am. I am this, I am that." She tried to turn heel, but it was like, no, no, no. We're with you. You ain't got to badmouth us. We're with you. We tired of it too. And SummerSlam, Charlotte got it, and that's when she snapped, right? And she was
right,
really, it was like, this is when we start to see the birth of the man, right?
right.
She gets it back. She loses it
Thanks,
because we know what was happening. That was during that whole
thanks to
WrestleMania
my
match.
other baby.
Uh,
Thanks to my other baby.
yeah. That's all we're going to say about that. Oscar got it just to be that transitional person, which I hate for them to add it to that WrestleMania match, right? And I'm
Yeah,
saying this because those matches on SmackDown, the storyline really drove those matches, and which helped us appreciate how good the women's matches have been, right? Because after WrestleMania, what did we get? Oh, am I frozen? Oh, are we frozen? You still there? Or am I frozen? I don't know if Hugh is having technical difficulties now. He was frozen too, but we're going to keep moving even without technical difficulties. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi, his Wi-Fi, or just the connection for CapCut. But I will say this: after WrestleMania, when we had the whole winner take all, everybody thought it was going to be Charlotte. We were actually treated to a nice surprise, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
that's when we got Becky two belts, right? And
I'm
Becky
back.
two belts was kind of, oh, you good? We're gonna roll with this, right?
Yeah.
Because there's few people that held both of them, but Becky held them at the same time. We know Becky Lynch held the Raw and SmackDown, of course, being Becky two belts. But there's Charlotte Flair, Bailey's held both of them, Sasha, Bianca Belair, Ronda Rousey, of course, you got to call Oscar, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley, right? Some of the few to hold
right,
both championships. But when Becky did this, this was the birth of the man. We saw everything happening, and granted, she lost one to Charlotte at Money in the Bank, but Bailey was like, I'm cashing in. Yet again on Charlotte. She got it
right,
back. We see the change in Bailey, which was, well worth it. And all of these stories help further these championships because, yet again, we're vested in SmackDown. Who knew what was going on in Raw because it was kind of like almost an afterthought. SmackDown women's division was being booked a lot better, in my opinion. SmackDown's women's division was being booked a lot more with some grit into it because after the rise of Bailey, we saw Sasha take her down in probably one of the best Hell in a Cell matches that WWE has ever produced.
hmm,
But what happened with this? And this is why I'm saying the SmackDown one was so much more important. And I know we're spending a lot of time on it, but I want the people to understand how impactful this World Championship, because that's what it is now, became because it helped us build a whole nother star that we didn't know what we needed. and you know that was a Bianca Belair, right?
Right, right,
And and what was so special about Bianca? Everybody said, she just had all that it factor, right?
right.
But we got to see, um, if it wasn't for this SmackDown reign, we probably wouldn't have got this reign. We probably wouldn't have got the main event of WrestleMania for her and Sasha Banks. We wouldn't have got, a woman that's undefeated at WrestleMania and the longest reigning women's champion of the modern era. Not this now, Bailey was the longest reigning SmackDown champion, but she was the longest reigning women's champion of the whole era.
Right, right.
Let's talk about this. Is this an underrated moment that we not celebrating like we should?
No, no, by far, no. It's not an underrated moment. It's been celebrated. Now we moving on. To be honest, like I mean, I don't know. I don't. We celebrated. They threw a big party for it. They made it known. Like, look, she's it for the modern era. This is her. This is her time. And the big deal was made. And man, like I said, look, it wasn't underrated whatsoever. I
Okay.
mean, it's proven. Look at what she is now.
Possibly about to be
Look at it
one of the marquee
again.
matches, if not the one of the match that might steal the show at Mania with
Right.
her dance partners.
For like the last year or so, she played the back burner and been basically mentoring one of the next top talents in the WWE. So
No,
she's in a great position right now. That means she's trusted, right?
she was on vacation.
So
She did
hey,
it.
hey, hey.
I mean, think about it. She probably needed a vacation, because she was on the top for so long.
Oh yeah, she was.
That break. Because when
That's
we
Miss
talk,
John Cena.
and that's what I'm talking about. These women champion, when all this was going on SmackDown, that belt felt more important than any belt that was on SmackDown at the time until Roman Reigns made the Universal title feel the most important, right? Because on
Absolutely.
Raw, Becky Lynch was the marquee for Raw because when she was Raw Women's Champion, we didn't have a champion because he was absent, right? So she
Right.
felt like the most important thing because of how she did this. And that's why it's so important that people understand the lineage and what came from these belts because when you think about the Raw Women's Champion, it looks like a who's who of the modern wrestling era, right?
Hmm.
Because when you look at it, and this is something that people need to really, really think about, right?
Yeah.
The list of these champions, you can put any combination of these women together and say, yep, this makes sense. And the reason I want people to understand that women's champion, the women's championship, WWE championship is tied to all of these, right? Whether they're on Raw or SmackDown, it was tied to one of these two belts, right?
Right.
And for Becky Lynch to have a combined 535-day reign in a modern era, where we might have seen women have 2 days, 4 days, 30 days, 90 days, in two reigns, she made that belt feel so important. She was the flagship for Raw. Bianca
Right.
Belair, the standard bearer. Even to the point that, let's call it what it is. Asuka has so many accolades, but three reigns, not talking about the SmackDown one, not talking about her NXT reign, it was an important thing for her. And then
Right.
when you look over to the SmackDown side, it's let's call it what it is. Future Hall of Famers, right? We know Charlotte Flair has already punched her ticket to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
We can say the same thing about Bailey. As much work she does in the forefront and the backside, come on now, we can't not celebrate these women as good wrestlers. Because
Yeah.
who are the two that's really synonymous with that belt right there on the screen? Do
There
you
we
feel
go.
like that was their? You know how Roman made the Universal belt important? I think these are the
Yeah.
two women. And you can add Naomi in that mix too because of what she did, but I think Naomi they missed the opportunity to do something more with her. But these women made this belt feel like a major deal.
I agree with you on that one. For sure. For sure. Those are the top when you think of that belt, that's definitely the one of the top two that you would probably think of, besides maybe a Becky Lynch. Naomi is a runner up, I would say, but most
Hmm.
definitely those will be your top four overall. Naomi, those two, and then Becky Lynch that you would think about when it comes to that SmackDown belt.
Hmm. Now, interested. Now, brother, here, I got to ask you this question:
What's that?
Who wore better? Let's talk about The Raw title, because I know you're really not that keen on that one, right? Who wore it better?
Hmm.
Who wore the Raw Women's Championship better?
Hey, look, I wanna go with my girl Charlotte, but at the same time, my blackness is telling me that I gotta go with Bianca because she she held it for 420, modern era champion basically, right? So we can't go against Bianca with that for sure.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna have to agree with you, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
give you a runner up because I believe that Bianca held it better because of what she did, but I can't take away what Oscar was doing
I was
during the
about to
back
say he gonna say Oscar.
because she made it feel like, oh, she's, Oscar, like the whole reason when she won Money in the Bank, we know Becky
Yeah,
Lynch went off to have the baby, and it was like just to see the sheer joy, and she was working towards it. And when I say Oscar and Becky Lynch, because Becky did carry it, and Oscar picked it up right when Becky Lynch said, "Here you go, I'm
she did.
passing it to
She did.
you." So I would say yes, Bianca, but my strong runner-ups have to be Oscar and Becky Lynch, right?
I can agree with that. Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw this message. That was a heck of a match that defined that belt. We'll have to say.
Yeah.
And then also, look who's in the chat. Everybody in the chat, answer the question: who wore it better? The Raw Women's Championship. We got to know. And then now I'm confused because I thought no, this is NetRam. Never mind.
Yeah, that's it,
Carmella
man.
deserves more credit than she's given, to be honest, from her cash in into her first reign because she was the first woman Money in the Bank and she chose the blue belt. And we'll never forget. And that's the point. That's the point. The blue belt felt like it was more important. How many people have cashed in on the blue belt? If you think about it, Liv Morgan, Bianca, I mean not Bianca, um, Bailey, and Carmella, right? All cashed in on the blue belt. Nikki and Alexa cashed in on the red belt.
Wasn't the SmackDown brand the so-called weaker brand at that time?
Supposed to be, but they kept delivering.
So I mean, that could be a reason why the women's division, not I mean, not to say that the women they don't do their thing out there, but the women's division got that much attention because you're bringing more eyes to the product because it's like, look, your SmackDown brand is kind of lackluster right now. Raw is doing their thing. People aren't going to tune in to Raw either way.
Regardless of what's going on.
SmackDown was suffering. Exactly. So let's bring some more flair. You like what I did there? Let's bring some more
You
flair
said bring more
to,
players.
to, to SmackDown.
And while we talk about SmackDown here, I gotta ask you the question: who wore it better, SmackDown Women's Championship?
Mm, mm, mm. All right.
Hmm,
Bailey. Bailey. It's only one answer.
not Charlotte.
Nah.
All right,
It
dude.
gotta be Bailey, bro. It,
Why
it has to
Bailey?
be
I
Bailey.
gotta hear. Tell me why.
Because Bailey is Bailey. Bailey is the one that she went from the hugger to the role model, right? And like we said earlier, Bailey does so much for the organization. Just not just going out there and winning matches. She's out there putting people over. She's helping people produce matches backstage, mentoring. She's a role model for a reason, right? And her reign at that time, she put over a lot of good people, and she helped elevate those people and take them to the next level. Charlotte at that time, she was known to be, oh, look, she was privileged. She was, you know what I mean? Like she can go away and come right back, and she's gonna get the belt no matter what. You see what I'm saying? Like it's a difference. I would rather go for that hardworking person. Not saying that Charlotte wasn't the hard worker, but in my eyes, Bailey was the real MVP of the SmackDown brand, the women's division. So I'm going with Bailey. I would love to say Naomi, but they didn't do too much with Naomi.
Yeah, she had two reigns in a short amount of time, and it was
Right.
at
And
the
I need her to
beginning.
get the belt again.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the lineage. So a lot of people grazed over it because we've seen everybody else have longer and multiple title reigns. And I gotta
Yeah.
agree with you. I think who wore it better is definitely Bailey. In my biased opinion, I'm gonna have to go with Bailey. And the only reason I'm gonna do a runner up because of Becky Lynch. We've seen both versions and we've seen her chase it and be hungry after. Because remember, she was one of the horse women that didn't get a title in NXT. Remember, she was never NXT Women's Champion until recently when she went
Yeah, it
down
always
there to
seemed
fight.
like she was left out.
Yep, she went back and got what she missed out on in the beginning. And honestly, I was so shocked that I was like, okay, we're going with Bailey when she won the title. But then, I'm sorry, Becky, when she won the title, was inaugural champion because her name will always be attached to that lineage. So when we talk about
Right.
the WWE Women's World Heavyweight Championship, the Women's World Championship, we're going to have to say
A lot of
Becky
W's.
is the first holder because this is the belt that it transformed into. This is the lineage that's attached to. Even though we're going to say, oh, Rhea Ripley is the first, yes. But the original iteration of that belt was this. Um, and I
I
will
definitely
say
think that
this.
was the right move at that time because she needed
Hmm.
that. She needed something
Yep.
to solidify her as one of those top superstars that she is. She was a part of she is a part of the horsewomen, but she needed something to solidify because, like you said, she didn't win the NXT championship until later
Nope.
on, right? So it was the right move for her
And
to be
think
the
about the
first
whole
one.
currency shift they tried to do, and it didn't work because the crowd was like, no, we want you to be, we want you to be champion. I'll never forget that promo. It was like, no, I'm tired of this. You didn't know we are cheering you. We're with you. We agree. And then when she got it back, it just felt like, all right, this is another Becky. This is an edgier one. And I'm glad that through Charlotte winning, Bailey got the title and became the first Grand Slam winner for the women because that tells you
Hmm.
why she wore it best. It was the last one that she needed to complete her Infinity Stone. If anybody knows that reference, her gauntlet,
No,
her Infinity Gauntlet. This is the last one that she needed, and it worked. You know what I mean? Because remember, as soon as that shirt came out, I was like, "Oh, I gotta get it." I was like, Bailey, that was the hugger. But then she changed her hair, got a little edgy, got the belt back. So
there was
I will
a
say,
lot of great competition across both brands for sure. Pretty much the
I,
same 10 people, but either way, a lot of great matches. I just sat back and watched the Becky Lynch Sasha Banks Hell in a Cell match, and at first, as far as women Hell in a Cell matches, I was looking at Charlotte and Sasha. I was like, that's one of my favorites. But then I watched it again, and I was like, hold on, this Becky Sasha match was was much better than that Charlotte Sasha match. So now I got to
so
go check out this
Becky
Bailey
and
Sasha
Sasha
again.
better than Charlotte and Sasha.
Yeah, yeah. For me, yeah,
Now, did you hear him? He
the
said
ending
something.
to the ending to the Charlotte match was kind of like I felt like the crowd lost interest in it towards the end, and it was just kind of like lackluster to me.
So
Where where Becky and Sasha, it was nonstop action, and they told a great story, right? And it ultimately ended with of course, Sasha tapping out, but both girls was just going in there, just fighting that hard out. They were both resilient. They went through tables, they went through ladders, kendo sticks, everything, and it was just an amazing match. It was well put together. So, like I said, I gotta go back and watch Bailey and Sasha now, and just figure out which one is my favorite out of the women's Hell in a Cell
all
matches.
available.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember that Bailey Sasha, and I was like, that's it, that's it. But I'm gonna have to go back and reevaluate now.
And I'm gonna just say this about them. I think because we saw on Raw the rivalry of Sasha and Charlotte, and
Yeah,
we saw it so much, we was like, not this again. We've seen it. We don't want to see that. The Becky and Sasha was a new mix up
it
that
was
we had
something
only
different.
seen here, there, and far and few between, right? Like for instance, every time Bailey and Sasha got a move, it was like, oh, we wanted that. We want that. We don't get what iteration we know we were getting because of every time they got in the ring, it felt like a different match because they were
But
such good tag.
I didn't get that feeling with Charlotte and Sasha.
You
That
didn't?
that not again feeling, no, because I enjoy watching them two go at it. But you can definitely tell, especially like because I watched the Charlotte Sasha first. You can tell that, especially with Sasha, when she got into the second match with Becky, like her ring awareness was much better. Her IQ was better. Like she grew as a superstar. She evolved, and you can just tell like those two they were young. That was 2016. They had just came up for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, right? and you could tell they were both wet behind their ears, just trying to figure things out. But later on, Sasha, she in that match, she knew exactly what she was doing in that second match, and that's what made that match between her and Becky so much better than the first one with her and Charlotte. It was
Okay.
good. The first one was good, but nah, it was just better produced, well produced. That second match was better overall.
Which is an interesting take to hear you say something about somebody else over Charlotte, which is good.
Hey,
I'm proud of you.
hey, man, I'm just telling the truth.
And I'm gonna just leave you with this tidbit, right? Raw might have had hot potato on when it came to the belt between Charlotte and Sasha, but it gave
Hmm.
us a new look at the women from NXT, like an Oscar, right? We got to see Charlotte do something different on a red brand. We got Becky two belts, got Ronda Rousey with her title reign, and then it gave certain women their first title reigns, like a Nia Jax, which I'm surprised you didn't mention, and a Nikki ASH. Even that was Rhea Ripley's first main roster title, was the Raw one, right? But then SmackDown, I just keep saying that SmackDown did his job a little bit better because we got Becky Lynch's turn that really wasn't a heel turn, right? We got her becoming a man. Naomi made it glow. Bailey being Grand Slam champion. Bailey becoming the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. Bailey's transformation. I know three of these are Bailey. They cash in on Charlotte twice. Ronda, Ronda was trying to make other women like come up, but guess what? How did it really?
And then
You know what I
and that's
mean?
when you had Liv came in, did her thing.
And Morgan, I'm
Yeah,
glad you remember. And then we get, even though the Raw and SmackDown title had main event at WrestleMania, the
yeah.
SmackDown title main event at night one of WrestleMania, which was a big deal because yeah, you had the women main event in a triple threat match with both belts, but you had just the SmackDown belt main event in WrestleMania, which to me was that pivotal moment of, yep, this is what we're going with. These are the two superstars that's going to end the show that everybody's going to talk about. This is booking in night one of WrestleMania to say, yep, let's close that page. And I think SmackDown title did more than the Raw Championship. And everybody said it. They like this version better. They like this blue better than they do the red.
I mean, it looks better. Definitely, it looks better.
Hmm. Any final thoughts about this championship?
I don't have anything else right now. I would just say like I kind of disagree with you. SmackDown did it better.
Okay.
I think they kind of on an equal playing field. I think as far as SmackDown, like you said, the storytelling was better, but on the Raw side, you just had pure competition. You talked about the hot potato in between Sasha and Charlotte. Their story was, look, we came up through the ranks together, and we're gonna go head to head, no matter what, and we're gonna keep battling and keep battling and keep telling the story of, look, we're the top dogs over here until somebody else proves us otherwise. And then I think SmackDown was just better with developing other stars as opposed to just the horsewomen.
Okay.
So I kind of agree with you, but I think like as far as the belts being on equal playing fields, I think they're pretty much neck and neck. I don't think SmackDown was 100% or better than Raw. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty close, pretty equal. They just looked at things a different way. You know what I'm saying? And what about things
Okay.
in a different manner?
So what I think I heard you say is Raw had the established stars fighting for it and giving you those matches where SmackDown was I don't want to say latter opportunity, but SmackDown was like the World Heavyweight title and Raw was the WWE Championship. Like,
I
and
mean,
this is the
that's
workhorse.
exactly what it is, right?
We gotta establish it and say, look who we got here, and then sprinkle in the star power as needed to further something else.
Yeah, that's the way it seems. Yeah,
Because
because if
when
you
you
think
think
about
about
it,
it, at the time,
Rhea got SmackDown first, right? She had the SmackDown title first, right?
no, she had the Raw one. That's
Oh
when
no,
she
she had the
took the
Raw
Raw
one
name.
first, right? Okay, yeah, she had Raw first. Yeah, okay, and that's when she went. Okay, never mind. I was about to go
But
somewhere with it, but
here's something to think about, right?
yeah,
Look at the tournament for the actual. Smackdown Championship, I think Naomi and Natalia were the vets in that tournament,
Right. Right.
which says a lot because not to say I'm downgrading any other women, but Naomi had been around and putting the work in, and I thought her and Natalia would have been the shoe in, and they went with a NXT superstar that had been called up because that's what
Hmm.
most of the brackets were, and it was like, oh, this is unique, and a lot of the first women to hold it were those new generation that we're trying to put in face and Naomi and Alexa, which was a good rivalry. I want to say. So, yep, I'm going to just
It
leave it
definitely
as so.
was.
With this lineage at the top of this belt, which is now the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm sorry, the Women's World Championship. I got to stop saying heavyweight. We got a Io Sky about to defend it in a triple threat match on the Raw. I'm sorry, from this lineage that transferred to the WWE Women's Championship. From Raw to the Women's Champion, we got Tiffany Stratton about to fight Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Hmm.
Who knows? These lineages aren't going to stop. I think we're going to keep adding to the conversation.
So my question to you is, who do you think is gonna come away with this world championship at WrestleMania? Because I'm pretty sure we already know what's gonna happen at with the WWE Women's Championship.
Or do
Who's
we?
coming out? I- You never know, but for the most part, I feel like everybody pretty much knows what's gonna happen. But how do you feel about the world championship?
So it's crazy that you would say that. Let me put that belt on my shoulder. I don't have the World Heavyweight title, but let me put the one that it came from, right? I
Hmm.
don't. I feel like Bianca has to because we need her back to that point. But then at the same token, do we need her back at that point? Because if she wins, what happens to Io and Rhea? We know we can run Rhea and Becky. I mean, we can run Rhea and Bianca back 746 times. They're going to have great matches. Same thing for Io. But I hope she doesn't get lost in the shuffle. I love that she did the shoving match and saying, basically, I'm here. I'm the champion. Y'all ain't going to talk past me. Is giving her a little, right? But we got to
Edge.
think. All three of these women are big deals overseas in every market that they're in. All of them are big deals. So it's not like we're gonna say, oh, we need Io because they're going to Japan next month, or oh, we need Rhea because we're going to Australia. Oh, we need Bianca because she's going to be um, making a movie next month. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, it's not like you can go and tell like what's going to be the next thing because remember, any of these women can be doing any of those things.
Yeah, you dancing around the question though. Answer the question.
I'm going to say Io retains,
Okay, thank you. That's what I
and I'm
wanted.
going to tell you why. Rhea, I don't think Rhea ever beat Io, has she?
No, no,
Okay. I
no.
think that's who takes the pin at Mania. I think Rhea takes the pin because she's never beat Io Sky. Io Shirai, Io Sky.
So
I
that
think that,
means that's the end of the streak for Bianca, right?
well, Bianca technically won't lose. They could always. I know
I
Bianca is
mean,
at Mania, but they might
yeah.
not want anybody to be close to the Undertaker because if anybody could beat his streak, it could be Bianca.
Man, she like 3-0, bro. Like,
I know, but
what
guess
you
what?
talking?
She still got a long time to go. So that's
Right.
why if you want anybody to do it, but I think Io retains. Um,
I think the way the storyline is being played out now with EO as champion being looked at as second fiddle, definitely I think EO's coming out on top.
And she's doing it by herself, which is insane because what if this might be just holding off till we get Io versus Asuka,
See,
Io versus Kyrie,
you always find a
Io,
way to bring Oscar into the situation.
Io versus Julia, Io versus Stephanie, Io versus Roxanne Perez. Like you literally could put Io with anyone in the roster, and
That's
everybody's going
true.
mind is going to be blown.
That is true.
Like I don't know if, and I'm not downplaying Rhea, I'm not downplaying Bianca. I'm just saying, if from a wrestling standpoint, the dream matches are more marketable first time ever. Oh my god, these two, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it's a lot to do with any of these women. But I think Bianca does need the belt back because she needs to. She said she needs to get back to being her. She does. Um,
Does she though? Because I mean, you still got this Jade stuff going on. You got her and Rhea. They can have at it. I don't
but
think that it absolutely needs the title.
but
You know
see,
what I'm saying? That feud.
I hate to say it, I'm surprised Bailey's the first one to go after a secondary title.
Hmm.
Surprised they didn't try to go towards. And I'm not saying Rhea is too big of a star to get the Intercontinental title, and I'm not saying Bianca is either. But I'm just saying, look
Yeah, she
what
is.
look what you can do with these belts. Chelsea Green hasn't stopped being on anybody's social media since she's been United States champion. She's actually been more on there. Um, and what better way to sell more merchandise than to have that? Can you imagine Rhea Ripley as Intercontinental champion and you going somewhere and you're like, oh, they have a women's Intercontinental champion? Oh, okay. Oh, she's the champion? Oh, yeah, let me get that belt.
Yeah, I kind of hear what you're saying, but it's not necessary. It's not
Okay.
necessary. So if out of the top superstars, like you said, Bailey is probably the best person to go after those big card titles first.
But
Because I hate to say it that way, because like
yeah, we
Rhea
tell you,
and Bianca, they're too large right now to be going after that. They have their own feuds that they can go off and have without titles, and they can still be relevant. You see what I'm saying?
they could
Leave
have a
those
match
titles,
on the pay per view
leave the leave
and
those
not have
mid
the
card
women's
titles
champion at
for
all, but just them two.
leave leave those mid card titles for the mid card talent, right? Bailey is an exception because, like I said earlier, she's a role model. She's the one that goes in and she likes to put people over. She likes to go. She goes in and she does her thing and puts people over. That's what she does. She makes people look good. You know what I'm about to say. She's the Dolph Ziggler of the group.
I was
She just
waiting
get
for
more wins.
Hugh has admitted that
Hey,
somebody had a better match than Charlotte, and now he says somebody gets more wins than Dolph. Who is this man?
hey, bro. Dolph can get any wins, bro.
But look, your twin said, "See, I just want Oscar back. I do too.
Exactly. Gosh, man. This women's division is stacked, man.
It's
You
that.
don't have
Wait a minute.
a you don't
Your
have
birthday twin. This is the founder from Four Sides of the Ring. Said if we're talking in ring talent, EO clearly clears both
everybody.
rear and who. Oh, buddy. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
100%.
oh. So I'm gonna say this about
Is she the best that WWE has?
who EO.
Yeah, in ring.
So it's see that's such a hard because it depends on what style you're talking about.
Exactly.
Because I think EO can be anybody's dance partner. That's the advantage that she has over everybody. Because remember that match with her and Bailey at WrestleMania, we didn't expect it to be a oh my god, why is this match so good? Every
Right.
time EO's on the screen, you're like pleasantly surprised that it's like you're going to get a good match. But you're like, I didn't know it was going to be this good. You know what I mean? Like you
So
think about
so
that match.
then that would make her one of the best that WWE has right now, right? Because she's
Because
so versatile. She's like AJ Styles. She's versatile. She can work with anybody. Is she right?
right? But then guess what? When Rhea does that, we say the same thing. We just got tired of her and Liv for all those months.
Yeah, we did.
We
I
did,
ain't gonna
right?
lie. We did. We did.
I think you just got tired of her and Liv. But we shall see. I think this year is going to be. I'm happy that the women are main eventing. I'm happy that the conversation has shifted from women's wrestling to that was a good match or this is the match that we want to see or this match or we're having conversations about the belts and the matches because yes, if Evolution 2 happens, that pay per view probably be one of the best pay per views of the year because,
Oh no,
like you
it will
said, the
be.
talent is that. How in all three brands, and don't listen, don't sleep on Evolve. They got a whole developmental for their developmental, and a reality show for their developmental. So they clearly figured out the secret sauce because I think it's the reason that what you call it got both of them belts. I think we're about to see some stuff happen. in NXT that we wasn't ready for.
Like Jada Parker with the North American title.
We talking about the world title, sir. Um,
Oh,
but any final thoughts about these two championships? Because I think we hit the nail on the head when it came to these belts. But
yeah, I think we done, bro.
I think a lot of people. I'm glad everybody's chimed in. A lot of people probably feels. I still think the SmackDown one is better. You say the Raw.
No, I didn't say the Raw. I just said they were equal player fields.
I'm going to go on record to say I think the SmackDown
All right,
had
that's cool.
had a better. You know, I see what you said. They were on equal playing field. All right, I'm gonna change. I'm agree with you. Yes, I'm not
Okay.
gonna say
Because I was about to make the ring settlement. Hey.
no. He gonna have his notes be like, okay, cause see, what you have to understand the lineage from brothers. I was surprised that
Right,
you didn't pull this off.
right.
There's gonna be some. Yes, and they both had tips on the belt. Oh, did you see what the prototype said?
No, what did he say?
And I'm trying to close out. He said, Evolution 2 happens at the best time where WWE has the greatest talent pool of women in the industry right now. They're going to be a banger event. Wherever it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to sell out.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
can you imagine an all women show and they can have matches without even having the titles on the line from all three brands? Can you imagine? Who?
Maybe four brands with TNA.
Oh, shoot. 4 world titles on that card.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you did a 6 woman tag with the
Shoot.
tag team, because remember TNA got their women's tag too. Tag team division too. You see who's their tag team champion? I
Shoot,
want half.
that's a. Oh, you see who going after her too? The Meta
you called.
Girls.
You called it.
Yeah, I sure enough
They
did it right.
they showed up. I said it's happening. It's happening. I
Shoot,
mean,
Evolution. That might be a 2 night spectacle.
it's that many superstars. Listen, I ain't never seen this many superstars in WWE's women division in a long time. I don't know if the world's ready for that. I I would probably rather see. Um, I was going to call it Delta. What's her name? Zoria and Marsha
Zarya. Yeah.
Zaria and Marsha Slamovich first. I think that would be a matchup that everybody was saying. Oh, they'll be chanting the holy. You know what I mean? With them two, because Ash by Elegance is the one half of the tag champs. But I think that if anybody's going to take one of the two companies' titles, the Meta Girls might do it
Yeah,
and
I can
be up
see them doing that.
solid face with the tag team belts.
Yeah, they need something new for them too, because they deserve something now.
Yes.
Either that or be brought back and put into a stable with Naomi. I'm just saying.
Okay. On that notion, any final thoughts about the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship?
I have nothing, brother guy. That was
I
like the
have.
14th time that you asked me.
I just because you came back with something each time. You came back each time. But you know what I'm gonna tell the people, right?
What you gonna tell them?
Oh,
As your favorite wrestler
oh,
moose is on the screen.
oh, because she was so Roka. Stop it. No, I'm gonna tell you. Tell the people. Make sure they comment their thoughts and
Hmm.
any questions, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chance when we go live. Even with all our technical difficulties, we appreciate y'all sticking around.
Yep, yep.
Everybody that's live, all the people in the comments. You want more information like this? Just follow us on all our social media platforms, right? Where can they
Yep,
find
yep,
you?
yep. Find me at HASTHE to the 3RD. That guy, Brandon the guy at Custom Guy 913. And you can find us at Championship Culture on IG at Championship Culture underscore. For the flagship, I'm gonna send it over to Brother Brandon. Take
Oh
it away.
yeah, tune in every Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. for the flagship show, the Wrestling Around Now podcast, where we go live. And trust me, oh man, you think we are wild? We're wild. Wait till you see all 4 of us on there. But you can always tune in every Tuesday at 8 p.m. for the next episode of Championship Culture. And until next time, Keep your eyes on the gold, and remember, every belt has a story. Can't wait to hear yours. Yeah, I
I'm gonna
changed it
take
up
my
for you.
time with it. Yeah, I
I know.
saw that. It was cute. It was cute. It was cute.
I said that just for you.
Go over to Instagram and follow us at Championship Culture _. And don't forget, check out youtube.com/TheWrestleRun. Look for the playlist for Championship Culture. And remember, every belt has a story.